Hey, welcome to the Book of Dad Radio Show. I'm Dr. Robert Benson. As always, before we get started, we want to say thank you to Jehovah, thank Him for His Son, Jesus Christ, thank Him for our families, thank Him for work and our ability to do the things we're able to do. Book of Dad Radio Show, and I'm hanging out, of course, with engineer extraordinaire, my main man, Eddie Ice G. What's up, Eddie?
What's up, brother? As I said, it's a little toasty.
Yeah.
I know it's cold in some parts of the country. I've been traveling. I went to London. I went to LA. And it was cold out there. It was hot over there. And now I'm in the middle. So I'm feeling good, brother.
So you had a spot of tea. Is that what you had over there, my man?
A spot, I did.
A spot of tea.
Had some Cheerios.
But before we move on, it's appropriate to say happy holidays to our listeners, and NASCAR Network family definitely wants to extend holiday wishes to you and your families. But today is a very, very exceptional show, and it's about family. But more importantly, it's about health and the medical care system. I mean, the unfortunate thing today is that the medical care system has gone from the care about care to the care about money. Well, if you don't have money, you can't get the appropriate care or necessarily the best care. You can get some, but not the best care. Today, we have some siblings on who are personified examples of family love. So without any further ado, we're going to let them talk to us about what their experiences were dealing with this fractured and vacuum, if you will, medical system. So without any further ado, we're going to say hello to Vera and Richard Sawyer. Good afternoon and good evening to you two from there in Philly. How you doing?
Yes, good afternoon and good evening. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. And how are you?
Hey, well, we're doing wonderful. We're so glad you're here. And like I say,
Thank
we
you
got
for having us.
this. Oh, absolutely. This thing we want to talk to y'all about is very, very emotional on some level. So I'm going to step away and let you, Vera, start the conversation about what it is you did to help your brother and share with our listeners some of the things you did and what exactly it is that we want to convey to them.
Okay. I was informed by my brother Rich that he needed a immediate open heart surgery from a diagnosis of a thoracic aortic aneurysm, and the aneurysm was so large it was leaning on his aortic valve, which also needed to be prepared. And in the immediate, of course, I guess you can imagine, I was devastated and I didn't handle it well. Once I got myself together through prayer with my mom and my sister, who was also present because he told us together, I basically became his advocate. So what we did initially was I went with him to his pre-surgery appointments, and then I was basically his caregiver throughout his surgery, well, not during his surgery, but after his surgery. And unfortunately, he had some unforeseen things happen, and his situation kind of became a little extreme. But, thank God he pulled through. And when he came home, I actually moved in with him for about a month or so. And I'd have to say that, at the time, my brother was 49. And, you hear about serious surgery like that. And my mom was 84 at the time. This was in 2021. And, we were just like, oh, no, he's got to make it to 50 and beyond, and it was just definitely a blessing and a beautiful thing that everything went so well. And his surgery was done at Jefferson University Hospital here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I'd have to say that his experience was excellent. My brother has excellent benefits, and he has some of the top docs, in the cardiac field, specifically for that particular surgery. And we have a rapport with them. They explained everything, so the experience wasn't good. What happened wasn't good, of course, but the experience, they made it as comfortable as they could, for the family, for me.
Especially for me.
Right. Oh, and for him, which he'll be able to tell you himself, but I'm very verbal, and I'm going to ask a lot of questions, and I would tell anyone to ask a lot of questions. Ask questions, inquire. If you don't understand something, ask. And if you still don't understand, ask more. Don't just accept something because it's coming from the doctor. If you don't understand some of the terms, some of the big words, you have to advocate for the person that cannot advocate for themselves at that time.
So, you mentioned advocacy versus being a caregiver. Can you kind of explain to our audience what the difference between the two is? Because you did say you did some caregiving as well.
They're actually probably married. They're very similar.
Okay.
Advocacy is more something that you do out of love and caring. Whereas caregiving, not to say that's not out of love and caring, but I don't want people to get confused with caregiver as I was hired to do something. This is my baby brother. So, I was able to advocate for him as an advocate, which is now I am a heart health advocate, versus and give care. If that makes sense, I'm kind of trying to explain it
It
as
makes a
best
lot
I
of
can.
sense. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yes. So yeah, it's really both. It's really both, but not as a title as a caregiver. I like to consider myself an advocate and just just love for my brother. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sister move.
Now, would you say that a caregiver is a person who actually participates in the recovery or in the care of a person? So, an advocate, you do things that maybe they can't do for themselves, or you find different resolutions. But as a caregiver, you're actually there physically helping in the healing process. Would you say that?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think you explained it better than me. Honestly, that's perfect. That's it right there. They are both needed.
Absolutely. The thing that's very interesting about all this is a few shows ago, Ed and I had a geriatric doctor on, and he said that the typical family dynamic and most of the people who are the people who kind of stand out and do the kind of things that you're doing are the oldest sister of the family. So you're kind of, playing right into that role, if you will. It's amazing how statistically that tends to be the case. But we're where we can take a quick break. And when we get back, we want to talk a little bit more about not just the advocacy, but the inherent care and love that goes with the things that you did and how it spinned off into an organization that you all have set up. This is Look at That Radio Show. I'm Dr. Robert Benson with my main man, Eddie Ice G, and we're talking to Richard and Vera Sawyer about a very, very sensitive topic. And we'll be right back.
See why listeners from over 150 countries around the world follow the Book of Dad radio show. Join Dr. Robert Benson and Eddie G as they chat with special guests who share their stories and information that will change your life. Watch and listen on lifeandspiritonline.com or subscribe to the Book of Dad radio show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the NASCA Network.
Hey, welcome back to the Book of Dad radio show with Dr. Robert Benson and me, Eddie G. And we were getting into some deep conversation with Rich and Vera about his situation health-wise and how she was his advocate and caregiver. But something else that took place through this journey was Vera decided to document this journey as well. Right, Vera? So tell us about that.
I was able to document Rich's entire journey, beginning on the day before his surgery, right, Rich?
Yeah.
So the day before his surgery, I actually did his interview, the night before his surgery, rather. And I just felt like having a real life journey or real life example to show people about not only what the person goes through, but also what the family goes through. So it was definitely more from my point of view. And I just learned a lot going through that journey with him. And I just keep mentioning advocacy because, I guess if it was if it was an award, an advocacy award, I believe that I would have got it because the doctors are just like, we've never, things that we take for granted from like our mom and just how we were raised and how we are as people that look, if your loved one is going through something, you're supposed to be there. You're supposed to, but they're like, it's people that don't have anyone that, don't get a visitor. They coming in for a heart surgery. They don't even get a visitor. So this documentary just really shows what that looks like. And I, yes, me, because I was there, all the time, but I also had a chat going with people, a text that I would send out to everyone to keep them abreast of everything going on. And we have a tree of life, from prayers and just, genuine concern from family and friends. And, the documentary just pretty much shows you a little bit of everything of what went on. Rich hasn't watched it yet. He's not ready to watch it. I definitely was able to capture some very, I want to say, he had tubes and different things that I don't know if he's ready to see himself like that. And I respect that. I was able to interview his cardiologist. I was able to interview his surgeon, Dr. Plestis, his cardiologist, his Dr. Bravetti, and I was able to interview his cardiac nurse. And it was, what they said was amazing, because a lot more African-American males, younger, like I said, my brother was 49, but even in their 30s, some earlier, are suffering from these thoracic aortic aneurysms. And it is a silent killer. So, Richie just lucked out. I mean, it's called the Rich Sawyer story, the life COVID-19 saved, because had my brother not had COVID, he would not have known that he had the aneurysm, because before he went back to work, he decided, let me go get a full exam. I don't want to go back to work and come back out or whatever. And they gave him an echocardiogram, and that's what detected the problem. He had absolutely no symptoms.
I did not know. I did not know that my condition was that dire. Mm-hmm. And it was dire.
Dire. Double the size. His aneurysm was double the size of what your aorta should be.
And an interesting note is, I would have passed a physical and a stress test in that condition.
Wow. The thing that's interesting about this is that not only did you do the documentary, you started a new organization that you're sporting the digs on, your dapper there with the heart. Talk to us about that a little bit.
If I can say one more thing about the documentary, we have original music throughout the documentary, and I made Rich do a rap.
Hey, he wasn't before surgery, was it? I mean, when was it?
This was after the surgery, right? So
okay. That's a whole story.
That's a story. But I just wanted to say,
Rick,
I made him do a rap, and I'm going to send it to y'all.
No, because I have to tell you about this. Go. She was telling me about the story, about the song, up until we went in the studio. There was no rehearsal. No, nothing. She called me and was like, Rich, meet me down at the studio. Like, okay. I get to the studio. She handed me a piece of paper and was like, okay.
No rap.
Put me in the booth. And
engineering everything. Yeah.
Wow. I'm telling you, the creator was with me, because I was able to do it. And because I really didn't want to do it.
He didn't.
I really didn't want to do it.
But he loves me.
But it just worked out. I'm saying, if you was to ask me to duplicate that right now to save my life, I would be up in heaven with my
Well, let me say this. He did an amazing job. I really am going to make sure that I send that over to you. We did a video and everything. He didn't want to do the video either. I made him not only do the song, but we did a video. So
you should have made him do the video with one of them hospital gowns on. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
No, but like the background was like cloudy and stuff. Like I was, on a cloud. And,
yeah, that's true. It's true. That's true.
She edited everything, and it was a fun experience. It was just a lot for me at that time.
Yeah, this is great stuff.
Talk to you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sure you guys are going to get it to us, but this is great stuff, because sibling love is amazing. I mean, family. I mean, the closest people I've ever been to in my life was my sister, and that your sister and your brother. I mean, it's like that sibling love is something that just can't be substituted for. And I think that you all are just a example of this personified, if you will. But
Thank you.
now you're welcome, and thank you for sharing this with us. And we'll make sure our listeners get to hear the rest of it and see the documentary and all those kind of documentary and all those types of things too. But it's the Book of Dad Radio Show. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll touch on the sibling family thing and the fact that not everybody has the benefits that can have this kind of procedure done, because the medical system has got to the point where it really isn't about ensuring safety and health. It's about money. And that's the real problem that we're dealing with these days. As a matter of fact, it's the platform of which a lot of these politicians are running. But this is Book of Dad Radio Show. I'm Dr. Robert Benson, Eddie Ice G, Vera, and Richard. Thank y'all. We'll be right back.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. Hello, I'm Les Brown, Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. I want you to spread the word to your family members and friends to listen to LesBrownGreatnessRadio.com. Absolutely. And let me share with you why we're going to be focusing on positive things, because whatever you focus on the longest becomes the strongest. And now more than ever, when the suicide rate has increased over 33%, when the suicide rate of young children between 5 and 11 has doubled, people feeling hopeless and stressed out and powerless, we need programming that can bring out the greatness in them. And that's what we will be focused on. When you listen, it will be an experience that will transform your life. LesBrownGreatnessRadio.com. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Hey, and we're right back. This is Dr. Robert Benson with the Book of Dad Radio Show with my main man, Eddie Ice G. And we're talking to Richard and Vera Sawyer. And guys, this story really resonates with me, and it strikes an emotional chord, which I'll touch on later. But when we left off, we were talking about the fact that not everyone has health care or appropriate health care. And Richard and Vera are going to explain even more about how this situation was almost isolated, if you will, if I can use that word, that makes it God sent, if you will. So Vera, talk to us a little bit about that your organization and the fact that not everybody has a healthcare and how that issue, if you will, rolled into everything that's happened with you too.
Rich and I decided to become heart health advocates, and we just took it a step further by I founded Every Heartbeat Counts. And my main reason was because when my brother, the test that my brother was given was an echocardiogram, an ultrasound of the heart. And had he not had the benefit that he had, he would not have been able to get that particular test, which would have meant they would not have found it. And I guarantee you, he would not be sitting here today had he not had that test. And, that was devastating for me to know that that test is that important. And that is not something that's given annually, is also not something that's given to younger people, and is oftentimes not covered. So for the uninsured and the underinsured, we are in the process of raising funds as one of our initiatives to help those underinsured and uninsured people receive an echocardiogram. And the second thing that we found out, or that I know, is that 77% of the population does not have dental coverage. And you have to be cleared by dentists to receive heart surgery. And
I did not know that.
So we also, yes, you have to have a dental exam. You have to be cleared by a dentist to make sure you don't have any type gum disease, any type periodontal disease, in order to get a surgery for more than just heart, but definitely heart, because that's your blood, the bloodstream. And because so many people don't have that, the uninsured, again, and the underinsured, we're also in a process of raising funds for those people. That's what Every Heartbeat Counts is all about. Like I know Dr. Benson, you went through a tough time, and I just really just want to say, I can't imagine I having my brother. I can't imagine it.
I appreciate that. So, the thing that's amazing about this is that while I am so happy for you, I'm a little envious because, as you just mentioned, I wasn't able to do what you were able to do for your brother, for my sister. So we can talk a bit more about that later on. But the thing that I really find interesting is that, just kind of pick it up a little bit, that, you everything that you do, your sister or your brother has to approve it, right? So, and then you took that to the next level. I mean, it's totally amazing. I know Ed's sister, Shell, she and I mean, we're family, but Shell and I graduated from high school together. So I knew that she kept him in line. Am I right, Ed?
100%.
But anyway, talk to us about what we can expect to see from Healthy Heart, or if I pronounce it correctly, in the future, please.
Okay, so another initiative that we have for Every Heartbeat Counts is we give this gift. So it comes with a button. It's a beer. It comes in, this is how it's presented. And this is for people. I've partnered with, I'm a veteran, so I partnered with the VA hospital here in Philadelphia. And there are a lot of people who are suffering from cardiac ailments who have no family or friends. So what we do, they allow me to go in and give them a gift just to kind of uplift their spirits and, brighten their day. So that's another one of our initiatives. Again, we definitely want to help the uninsured and underinsured with echocardiograms and dental exams and dental clearances. We also raise awareness about heart disease, and we promote our healthy lifestyle for anyone. So we partner also with 100 Black Men. They have a parent academy, and they allow me to have consultants come in, whether it's for nutrition, movement. So we'll have a Zumba. We just did yoga. So we also do that. Next year, we're going to have, we're going to offer a CPR and AED course. My secondary target, so our first target is 25 to 55 men and women. Our secondary target is youth in sports. We want to make sure that those coaches are CPR certified, especially in urban and underserved communities, because they need to know how to do CPR and they need to know how to operate an AED machine and have an AED machine on hand at all times. And yeah, we want to have line dance parties as well as something else for our movement classes. We have Millie's Monday Meals on Instagram. Every Monday we offer a heart healthy recipe, and we are. Oh, and I'm not really supposed to announce it, but I hopefully will be a woman of impact for the Go Red for Women American Heart Association. So for next year. So we definitely have a lot going on, Chief.
You do.
Want to add anything? So yeah, we are so happy.
I'm just, proud to be the vehicle through which all this is happening.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, it was an unfortunate situation for me, but we try to take a positive out of a negative, and this is definitely a positive.
Yes. And his temperament is amazing. He held us together in all he was going through. He held us together because he was so, it's, just like so positive. Look, this happened. Let's get it done. So on and so forth. We can only be but so upset and sad if the person is going through it is like, look, it's going to be all right. It's whatever. So
you have to know me to really understand. But, it was a bad situation, but I just take it like anything else. Let's get through it and let's move on.
Yes.
You are right
God's
about
grace and favor.
Amen. Hey, well, let me say this real quick, Vera. Thank you for your service. I'm a veteran as well.
Thank you for your service, Air Force.
And, no doubt. Me too. But here's the thing, and that's the one thing we learn in the military is to take care of each other, because we often find ourselves in situations where if we don't, somebody's going to die. I hate to say it like that bluntly. But family, listen here. We could talk about this forever. Okay, I mean, this is just
Oh,
unbelievably
yes.
a touching subject. I mean, wow. But we really are happy that you came to get up with us here. We know we want to make sure that people know how to reach out and find you guys. But this is just another great show for our audience. How about that, Eddie G?
Hey, I agree. And I just want to say to our viewers and listeners to really take a moment to appreciate your family members and appreciate,
Amen.
the ones that are here, and pick up the phone and call your brother, call your sister, tell them that you love them, because, we take people for granted, not in a negative way, but you just think that they'll always be there. And you just don't want to lose somebody and say, I never told them while they were here how I felt, And, brother and sister, we get along, we fight, we laugh, but sometimes just say it. Just tell them. Tell them you love them and that you appreciate them, especially now during this season.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Well, guys, like I said before, this is a really, really sensitive topic for me, and it's difficult to articulate because I just recently lost my sister, Karen Benson, and went through similar. I appreciate that. I went through a similar scenario with her, where we were trying to do exactly what you were doing. You were advocating. You were trying to make sure that the appropriate testing and such was done, but unfortunately, it didn't. I wasn't successful in doing that for her. So, but all I can do right now is say, I enjoyed her when she was here. But to go back what Eddie said, I appreciate every conversation we ever had. But I just want to tell her, Karen, I love you, and I'll see you next time. But this has been the Book of Dad radio show. I'm Dr. Robert Benson. Eddie H.G., thank you so much, my main man. And Vera and Rich will be in touch with you guys real soon, I'm sure. But
thank you so much. God bless. Thank you.
Amen. God bless you too. And like Ed said, tell your family you love them, and happy holidays from the Book of Dad radio show.
Yes, happy holidays.